What's going on, everyone? So the media looks like it's turning slightly on Rob Pelinka. We've gotten a couple reports that came out in the last few days about Rob Pelinka, particularly in the draft, and then also with Frank Vogel. Now, I just think this is odd that this stuff, the draft stuff, sure, given that, I guess it happened this season at least. But the Frank Vogel stuff, this is 2 years removed. It's kind of just odd. And it just seems like there's this narrative that's being driven right now with just the Lakers, period. And I think part of that is just the Lakers haven't been great this season. Right? They've been disappointing. Could they still make some noise or do something? Sure. They're not completely out of it, but they're just not where most of us expected the Lakers to be at this point of the season with 13 games left. So I do think that to an extent there is this okay, well, let's stir up this drama. Let's have this controversy, right? You've just seen and hear all the noise, especially more ramped up so lately about Darvin Ham. And, every word that LeBron or Davis or, D'Lo or whomever mentions anything about, game plans or, even when they're oh, man, this coach did a really good job. Everyone's oh, he said that coach is better than it. It's no, he didn't. He complimented the coach for making a good call or whatever, right? Could that have been a jab at Darvin Ham? Sure, it's possible. But in reality, could have just been a compliment, right? Players compliment players. Players compliment coaches. It's just how it goes. But, of course, it's the media. They're drawing up as much controversy as drama because those are what clicks, right? Those are what sell. But the two big points that have came out recently have been D'Angelo Russell and that article, which I've already covered and talked about, so we're not going to go into that one today. And now kind of, again, this Rob Pelinka, hey, Rob Pelinka messed up the draft pick, everyone. Hey, Rob Pelinka, sabotage Frank Vogel. So let's start with the sabotage Frank Vogel one because that's the easiest one to kind of get out of the way. So in the article that came out, it talked about how there are some that believe that Rob Pelinka sabotaged Frank Vogel deliberately. That they question if he did it deliberately. Which I think is very silly. Because if you really look at the circumstances, and if you even just go back and look at what, who were free agents and stuff like that at the time, then you would see that, what were the options? So, Frank Vogel, obviously, it appeared he lost the team. There's a lot of questions about, is he up to snuff? Frank Vogel felt like he was kind of just thrown under the bus. He was conflicting with Russell Westbrook. They were just getting destroyed, not making the playoffs, with a team that at the time looked like a super team, but in comparison, if you actually look at it, it was all these guys are 7 years past their prime. It's not a super team. On paper it was, but in reality it was. You look at the 2020 season, look at the 2021 season. The Lakers win in 2020. You move to 2021. The Lakers probably go back to back. They were still one of the best teams in the league, but then injury plagued them. Dennis Schroeder, because he ended up getting COVID. Before COVID, Dennis Schroeder was, with him, LeBron, and Anthony Davis, were literally the best trio in the league at the time. They had a plus 11.5 or 11.2 differential, which was the best in the league. Lakers were looking dominant. They go into the playoffs. They play the Phoenix Suns, right? They're up 2-1. Looks like they're about to coast to a 3-1 lead, and then Anthony Davis goes down. LeBron James was also on one leg at that point, and he didn't have enough in the tank to carry them into the next round to where maybe Anthony Davis could have came back. You lost. So what do the Lakers do? They go and they retool and they get the old squad. They go and trade for Russell Westbrook, which again was not Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka, and we know this is public information. Rob Pelinka had a deal lined up, done, signed, sealed, delivered. And that deal was with Sacramento for Buddy Hield. The Lakers were going to trade, I believe it was Kyle Kuzma and something for Buddy Hield and some other pieces. The deal was ready to go, finalized. Sacramento was furious, and it's one of the reasons why they had to kind of just like give Buddy Hield away, because it ruined the thing. It's like, oh, well, now you're trying to trade me. We know that was a fact. That was public information. That Buddy Hield, Rob Pelinka had the Buddy Hield situation or deal lined up, ready to go. And DeMar DeRozan said publicly in I believe it was a Taylor Rooks interview, again, public information, where he said he thought it was done and he was headed to the Lakers, and then they went and traded for Russell Westbrook. Otherwise, he was under the assumption he was headed to the Lakers and was going to take a discount. But what happened? You had LeBron James and Anthony Davis hanging out with Russell Westbrook. There was all the talks of like, man, they've been hanging out a lot lately. Then you got the news that they went to Anthony Davis's house and they talked about the potential of the three of them playing together. And then what happened? LeBron James and Anthony Davis ran to Mama Jeannie and said, hey, we want you to trade for Russell Westbrook. I want to play more off ball. I want to be LeBron. I want to play more off ball. We'll do whatever it takes to make it work and figure it out. Rob Pelinka had no intentions ever to trade for Russell Westbrook. But LeBron James and Anthony Davis wanted Russell Westbrook. Again, if you don't take my word for it. Look it up. It's all out there. Like, this isn't new. I didn't just like discover gold here. Like, this was already information that we were aware of. Right? So that first season was a disaster because it didn't work. Everyone was old. They had no defense. They were trying to like pray that Trevor Ariza would be the glue piece because he actually had a solid season the year before. Like, that's what that's what the reality was. So it wasn't blatant sabotage. It wasn't the Lakers trying to go and do that. It's after they got Russell Westbrook. What else? They didn't have anything else. They didn't have salary space. Go look at the free agents that were available that we could have realistically got. We got all of them. Like, that we could have realistically gotten. Like, so no, he didn't sabotage deliberately. If anything, LeBron James and Anthony Davis did. Right? And then you had the falling out with him and Russell Westbrook. There were talks about LeBron and him not seeing eye to eye, and that LeBron didn't like it, that Frank Vogel was too passive. What was Russell Westbrook's biggest issue? He called out Russ all the time, but he never called out LeBron James and Anthony Davis, right? Which Frank Vogel was known as a passive coach, even a non-confrontational guy going into the Laker job. He was that in Indiana. That was concerns and knocks against him. Again, all this stuff we were aware of and know. And so what happens? They end up letting him go, hire Darvin Ham, which, in hindsight, the grass isn't always greener, but it had nothing to do with Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka had other deals, other plans in mind. He was building a team a completely different direction. And then they wanted Russell Westbrook, so he went and got Russell Westbrook. And then the fallout happened. Otherwise, Frank Vogel might still be the head coach. Right? Like, who knows? I don't. But what we do know is the information that we do know. So the whole Rob Pelinka sabotaging the Lakers is just a silly narrative to me as far as or sabotaging Frank Vogel, not the Lakers, which I think is a silly narrative to me. I mean, go, again, even last year, right? Go look at the free agents that were available. Again, they were all guards, and the Lakers signed all of them. Like, Rob Pelinka's signed every year the guys that were the best players available. And then last year he goes and makes the trade and turns things around and all that stuff. And then this year it's been a combination of Darvin Ham. It's been a combination of just players not showing up and playing lackluster. So that thing is just silly to me. But the big thing or a lot of people feel is a big thing, is that, again, according to this report, who knows how real it is, I'm always kind of iffy on the somebody familiar with the situation or the brother's, cousin's, nephew's, uncle of this guy knows, so again, take that stuff with a grain of salt. Second thing is that supposedly Rob Pelinka overruled the draft department and took Jalen Hood-Schifino over what, again, this is what was being rumored. This is a rumor. It even says in the article, rumored, that the scouting department wanted Cam Whitmore. We knew going into it that the Lakers were interested in Cam Whitmore. We knew at draft day that they were interested in Cam Whitmore. Rob Pelinka even said that they considered taking Cam Whitmore. Did Rob Pelinka just completely go in and override? Oh, no, I don't care that you guys want Cam Whitmore. We're going to take Jalen Hood-Schifino. No. Again, Rob Pelinka talked about this. Rob Pelinka addressed this. And he talked about how they really like Cam Whitmore. People also forget that Cam Whitmore, yes, he was projected a top 5 pick. But without the injuries and then attitude problems and things like that, that's one of the big reasons he fell. And so the Lakers, like Rob Pelinka said, we were contemplating Cam Whitmore. We almost took Cam Whitmore, but we decided to take Jalen Hood-Schifino, right? That the draft department liked it. JHS worked out for the Lakers twice, right? Like they were interested in Jalen Hood-Schifino. It wasn't like Rob Pelinka just pulled this guy out of left field like the article's trying to make it. It's not like all the scouts and everybody were like, oh, you got to take Cam Whitmore. Like we worked out Cam Whitmore. Cam Whitmore's the guy. And then Rob Pelinka was like, nah, let's just take this guy. No, like it was a whole thing. Could it have came down to Rob Pelinka where they were like, hey, we're split on Jalen Hood-Schifino. We're split on Cam Whitmore. What do you want to do? Then I could see that, right? I could see Rob Pelinka going like, all right, I like Jalen Hood-Schifino. Cool. There you go. Got Jalen Hood-Schifino. But here's the thing about like the draft. 2 things. One, anybody the Lakers drafted this year wasn't going to get an opportunity. Right? The Lakers drafted Jalen Hood-Schifino not for this season. It's for what he could be 3-4 years down the line post LeBron James and in the rebuild process. If the Lakers drafted Cam Whitmore, if the Lakers drafted Jaime Jaquez, Scoot Henderson even, he probably never would have seen the court outside of garbage time and stuff like that. Because the Lakers had no intention of being this bad this year. And then when you went into the offseason, going into the regular season, it was like, oh, we have Gabe Vincent, D'Angelo Russell, so on. It's just, that's the thing. Like, there was never an idea or intention of drafting a guy to help now. It was always draft a guy that can help for the foreseeable future, not right now. So anybody that, like even Cam Whitmore, and Cam Whitmore, he's been on and off even with Houston. All right, like Jaime Jaquez is the one that you're just like, because he's like, I think Jaime Jaquez could help like immediately. Right? Like I think he's the guy that like for now would have made sense. Cam Whitmore long term could make sense. Second thing though, and this is the biggest thing. How can we judge Jalen Hood-Schifino when he's averaging like 4 minutes a game on the season, is only played a handful of games, and 90% of the time that he plays is garbage time when there's no real team structure? They're just trying to kill the clock and run through to just get the game over. Or like he's played like maybe 3 meaningful, like real, true, meaningful moments the entire season. He's a 21-year-old kid that is drafted for the long haul. He is killing it in the G League. Now, I understand it's the G League, but that's a good sign, right? Like, a guy just clearly far better than everyone in the G League usually means that he's at least bare minimum into the bench guy in the NBA, right? But he's young. It's going to take a lot of upside. It's the potential. How do we know what he can be? We don't, right? Cam Whitmore could develop to be nothing. Jaime Jaquez, this could be his ceiling, right? Like, we don't know. It's the rookie season in a year in which he hasn't seen the floor really, like in real meaningful opportunity or minutes, which was always the plan, which is fine. So my thing is like, let's be patient. Let's see. The Lakers scouting department and drafting has been A1 for years now. For literally the last like 7 years, if not longer. And all of a sudden they now pick the one guy that we're all gonna go, you messed up. Like, let's wait and see. When Giannis was drafted, did anyone think that Giannis was gonna be the Giannis that we know now? You know, when Jokic was drafted during, what was it, a Taco Bell commercial? Do you think anyone knew that he was going to be the guy that he is now? Right? Draymond. There's so many. You can go down the list. There are so many players. The draft is a crapshoot regardless. And so to take a chance on, it could be Whitmore, it could be whatever. There was real reasons Whitmore went from being a top projected pick to literally falling to, what it was, 20th or whatever. Like, there was a reason for that. Right? There was a reason that 20 other teams passed up on him. Right? But again, it's all just a crapshoot. But I've never understood judging players, especially rookies, when they've played 1 year. I mean, Scoot Henderson looks like he doesn't belong in the league sometimes. And he was, his top pick. You know, not number one, but number 3? So, what's that? But it's because it's the Lakers and because it's Jalen Achifino and he's on the Lakers. That's where the narrative lies. My thing is let's just be patient with him. I'm not saying he's going to be anything. He could end up being a scrub. I don't know. It's been 1 year as a rookie in a team that he hasn't gotten to play any meaningful minutes. What does he look like year 3? What if he becomes a superstar? What if he becomes, a top 10 player or an all-star or even just a quality role player off the bench? I don't know. He could be any of those things. He could be the best player in the league in 5 years. I don't know. Is it likely? Probably not. I wouldn't bet on it. I don't think that that's going to happen. But you never know. Did anyone think Giannis was going to be the best player in the league when he was drafted? No. People didn't even know who he was. So let's be patient is my point. All these articles and stuff, I think it's just people bored. Again, if you just took the time to actually look this stuff up, it's out there. The actual answers are out there. We know what the answers are. The Frank Vogel thing. We know what the answers are. Rob Pelinka didn't deliberately go and get Russell Westbrook and build that team just to spite Frank Vogel. We know why he built that team. LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Rob Pelinka had other plans entirely. Was going to get other pieces entirely. He didn't have plans to go get Russ. But guess what? Your 2 superstars wanted Russ, so guess what? You go get Russ. That's what it is. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you agree with me? Disagree with me? No? What are your thoughts on Rob Pelinka as a whole? I like Rob Pelinka. I think he's done a fair job, right? He's done more than most GMs. I mean, so many people talk about the GM for the Thunder. Why am I blanking on his name? Sam Presti, right? So many people talk about him, and he's the greatest GM in the history of GMs. And that guy, he's never even won. At least Rob Pelinka's won a championship. It's Rob Pelinka's done more in his short tenure than guys that have had tenure for 20 plus years and have never won or done anything. Right? And then it's every time the guy just turns water into wine. He's done it several times already. Again, the things that people criticize him for wasn't even his idea. Even the center, we should have got a center. Rob Pelinka had a deal done, signed, sealed, delivered. Oh my, to go and get Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. And what happened? Jeannie Buss went, nah. Again, Rob Pelinka can only do what he can do. That's my only thing. Again, is he the greatest GM ever? No, I'm not saying that. But these articles that are going around right now are they're nonsense. The real information's out there. We know for a fact. We've seen it. It was on video, is my point. But again, let me know how you feel. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.